Welcome to my channel. I am Daisy, your hostess, and you are in my tarot playlist, where in this video we're going to take a look at the week ahead through the eyes of tarot and lunar influence. So that's for Monday, February 6th, all the way through Sunday, February 12th. It will contain a smorgasbord of goodies. We will have a lunar influence to see which zodiac is influencing us during the week. And then we will do a tarot storytelling for one card for each day of the week, followed by pleasures and temptations. Yes, angels and demons. What will we choose? And what's going to be best for us, right? Then I will address the complete elements of the zodiac wheel, our water signs, our fire signs, our earth signs, and our air signs. And then that will be followed by numerology, where I'll draw a random number to see what will be the influence of the number for the week. And then I will follow that by answering one of your questions. Yes, a little mini reading. So if you are interested in a mini reading, simply enter your question below in the comment and I'll grab it and bring it forward at one of the next future sessions. And then we will do a little meditation and I will offer up an affirmation. In that minute of silence, I want you to join me in creating a space of silence where we focus on our breath and just allow the presence of our being and honor that, honor ourselves in that space. It may be the most sacred minute you will give yourself for this whole week. It's almost like a mini vacation. You would be surprised how 1 minute of intentional silence, where you block off everything, where you turn off the noise and just honor that existence for yourself, it helps just bring you to this sense of awareness and peace. And I invite you to share that space with me as we can create and honor life itself. All right, if you're ready to get started, I am ready to get started. All right, let's move on now to the next section of our reading. In this section, we will now take a look at the lunar influence for the week of February, Monday, the 6th, through February, Sunday, the 12th. The moon, as a luminary in the night sky, is an easy thing to follow and can be a visual guide as we journey through our month. We are navigating through the heavens, and now the moon is moving away from its full moon splendor, and the waning moon now begins to appear smaller each night as it progresses from a full moon to a new moon. When the shadow of the moon is on the right side, it means we are looking at a waning moon. The days up to the full moon, there's a lot of movement. Even the plants work overtime with the extra light at night. Their nightlight, right? So we, in our most sublime nature, will find ourselves moved to do things that push us towards our goals. The waning moon invites us to take time and think about this progress and watch as the fruits of our labor start the slow process of sprouting. The waning phase is also a period of regrouping and reassessing our intentions. Moving into a new cycle, the waning moon invites us to check in with ourselves. What do we want to gain by holding on to something, and what do we gain by letting go of it? The moon once again is telling us that the cycle begins, and it's time to make way for the new part of our life that we have yet to experience. Keep in mind that the lunar energy is passive, gentle, and is an invitation to listen to our intuition and ask ourselves to look inside and realize what needs to be released. As we move with the waning phase of the moon, keep that in mind. There will be hidden things to pay attention, things with double meanings, and things that may be kept in secret. We are all being impacted by the intensity of the emotional feelings that come up during the darker phase of the moon. Water signs love this energy. The rest of us, while we have an opportunity to explore our emotional side and intuition. During the week, think about all the good that you have received and then put that energy back into the world. So on Monday, February 6th, waning gibbous moon is in Leo. It is urging you to express yourself productively. This is not about holding back, nor is it about being aimless in your interacting and approach. The key word is be productive. And when it comes to speaking, it means that if it's going to help something move forward or share some positive impact, share that. But if it's not going to build and it's only going to destroy, reserve it for yourself. Be productive. In general, the vibe for Monday is, I got up on the right side of the bed. Feeling good about yourself, expressing yourself freely, and gaining clear perspectives about yourself and your projects. You may be feeling very good, so be extra careful to not step on other people's emotional toes, especially as we roll toward the early part of the afternoon when the moon moves into Virgo, right about 16:14 Eastern Standard Time. That energy will shift from one of intention to one of action. Moving through the week on Tuesday, February 7th and Wednesday, February 8th, the waning gibbous moon continues in Virgo. Virgo is the workhorse of the earth signs, and you may be drawn on Tuesday and Wednesday to focus on crunching numbers, perhaps your budget, review your future plans, analyzing bottom lines and deadlines. You may even be reconsidering your overall goals, whether personal, as in terms as your own family, and even possibly relocating to a new area or considering a change of career. If you have been procrastinating, use this Virgo energy to get back on track and create the momentum to propel yourself forward. Be prepared both on Tuesday and Wednesday to deal with things that you have neglected or put off. This lunar influence will have you feeling the earth, so to speak, and focus on what's real and what's smoke. This could be painstaking for some of the water and air signs. Overall, Tuesday and Wednesday, take the most efficient approach to whatever business you have. Steady your impatience and everything will work out just fine as you cross hump day. As we head into Thursday, February 9th, the waning moon moves from Virgo into Libra at 3:47 Eastern Standard Time. The day before, it was about rolling up your sleeves and getting things done, and pretty much loving that you've got so much accomplished. You may find that this day is more about appointments and meetings one-on-one with people, and sometimes maybe group meetings and starting new projects. Maybe you start one, then get another one, and all of a sudden your inbox is full. Well, it's that Libra spirit wanting to set you a sail on the high seas towards a new adventure. And the truth of it, you may well be tempted on dropping everything and saying yes. On Friday, February 10th and Saturday, February 11th, the waning gibbous moons continues in Libra. Entering the weekend on these 2 days will be putting you in touch with people. The events and situation will be aligned in such a way to give you an opportunity to look at the relationships in your life and understand them on a new level. This dark side of the moon is asking you to look at these relationships and ask yourself which ones are serving you and which ones are limiting you. Be aware of this, as during this period you may be exposed to vampire energy, not in its fantasy sense, but more in its descriptive sense. You may be dealing with someone that literally leaves you exhausted after they walk away. Allow yourself the gift of awakening to see the world more clearly and peacefully, because it is Libra lunar influence that wants to bring balance and help you use balance in all aspects of your life, even when it comes to relationships. It is no coincidence that the moon and Libra are both feminine energy, needing to balance with other in order to feel complete. Libra teaches us to look at and adjust our expectations of the people in our lives. Keep in mind that the lunar influence is affecting all. This is not exclusive to you, so everyone at a sublime level is on the same page about how they're showing up for life, showing up for each other, and what can be expected from each other in any given situation. On Saturday, February 11, be prepared to experience a mild shift right about 1335 Eastern Standard Time when the waning gibbous moon moves into Scorpio, and make sure to not take things too personally, as the water sign may want to fill your cup. Then on Sunday, February 12th, the waning gibbous moon is in Scorpio. You may be looking to rest and put the past week behind you. After all the business and all that high energy may have left you somewhat drained. Even though you may be tempted to keep going, this would not be a wise thing. Don't fall into this trap that you've got to get things done. You also need downtime, and welcome this day with the opportunity to process all that you have experienced. It's okay to rest, and it's okay to claim your space. The moon is partially lit and partially dark. It can be a time of great insight, so take a step back and ready yourself for the week ahead. Get clear on your next steps, what worked, what didn't, and what needs adjustments. The lunar influence of Scorpio brings truths to the surface. If others have betrayed you, this is not about confrontation. This is more about you being aware of that and connecting with your feelings about that situation or that person. Also about looking at your limiting beliefs and your shadow self. You know, that part that we don't show to other people? You know what I'm talking about, right? So Scorpio is the most passionate zodiac sign. So the lunar influence of Scorpio is the Cupid of the zodiac. And here we are coming up with Valentine's, right? So it loves flirting. It loves romantic adventures and dining and going out and socializing. So as you go through this day on Sunday, you may be in socialize Sunday mode, and don't be surprised if you find yourself in good spirits, as well as finding that good spirit in others. If you look with rose-colored glasses, you may see the best side of people and situations, and you may begin to understand that what and why of the things that have stood in your way, as well as the fears and the doubts that hold you back and what needs to change. A good reflection as you head into Valentine week ahead. It's not just about that special one. It's about love one another. All right, let's move on to the next part of our comprehensive reading. With the Death card upside down, we now see a whole different meaning then. In itself, it is talking about change. But what is it that we're resisting here? So there are some things that are going to come up on Monday. Maybe it's a relationship that you're not ready to move away from yet. And those are issues that you need to kind of work with. And it could be that you may want to use the Leo moon to help bring out these feelings and to communicate on that. When it comes to work-related matters, whether we're talking about a career, a business, maybe for those in higher education, there's some things that you are falling behind on, you're still not, moving forward with it, projects that are not finished, something is lingering that you're not moving forward with, and you're not willing to make the changes that you may need to make. In all of that, there is also for a collective group a sense that perhaps you're not happy with you're at, but you're not ready to move on yet. Could be one of those things. And financially, there could have been some financial losses that you've had that you are kind of still trying to transition from, but you still can't get a hold of these things. And remember that this is a karmic card. And on Monday, this could mean that you are given and being led to events that are forcing you to learn the mastery of your financial situation, your budget, your income, your assets, and looking at how that's going to, be a theme for you that you can work and manage with. But the ups and downs of your financial situation is causing a lot of stress internally, but it is part of this karmic path that you have. On a different note, this could also mean that you may have lost someone recently and you are having a hard time, making that transition and accepting this new normal in your life without this person. And Mondays, something's happened on Monday that these memories are bringing this back to light, and it's really creating a really hard day. And part of that is that Leo energy, with that fire sign, bringing in some memories of the past and bringing these memories to the front, having to work with it, but you're not willing to let go of this person yet, even though they may not be around anymore. Let's take a look at Tuesday. As we look at Tuesday here, we're seeing a sense of joy, a sense of happiness, some celebration. And you're like, wow, how do you go from a death card, a major arcana card, to the number 4? But I want to bring this to your attention. Take a look at what we had here. We had a 13. 1 plus 3 is 4. So the sun does come up. The sun does shine. And sometimes when we have that chance to rest and to put things behind us and to kind of transition through one day at a time, we can appreciate those small victories. Plus, the moon has now moved into Virgo. So now it's asking us to get grounded in something. And so that number 4 is like that, the 4 post of a table, bringing you back to some type of, organization, some type of service, some type of, application, some type of what I call working and having the endurance to make things happen. So it's very appropriate with the Virgo, now the workhorse of the Zodiac, to have this and to see this card, that as we move into Tuesday, we are now experiencing some type of feeling good, that we've reached a milestone, that we were able to complete a project, that we were able to stick with a goal, whether it's some personal goal that you had or some community goal that you were trying to reach as far as a group or in your business or in your career. You have now reason to celebrate this situation. So there's going to be something to celebrate, something to be happy about, some sense of a project that you are able to kind of, hey, I'm really feeling good that I was able to get this done. And there's a sense of relief and also a sense that you want to celebrate this for yourself. And it is important. When it comes to family, this, as we can see, we see celebration. This could be a wedding, an engagement, some type of announcement, some gathering. And all of this is a good vibe for this day as trying to make these things happen. At work, on Tuesday, whatever the gloom was, now there is a sense that projects are being put together, and the reason that they're kind of becoming successful is because everyone's getting on the same page. There's collaboration. This is a good work day for many of us. The sun is shining on you, blessings are coming your way, and it's a good feeling. In the area of money and finances, a positive day for investments, support from others. So if you were looking for financial support in something that you're doing, that's going to come together. There's going to be a union of someone coming in to join you on this project, on the endeavor. If this is a real estate transaction, there's going to be more than one parties involved in this transaction, whether it's on a business contract or on a personal contract. This is coming through for the collective. Let's move on to Wednesday. Okay, so as you can see, one day moves on and then the next day we have a shift here. As we look at the Two of Pentacles here, it's in reverse. So let's just bring it right side up to get a vibe of this number, to look at the imagery a little bit better. The number 2 here resonates with the energy and vibrations of balance and duty. As we can see, this person is trying to balance things out. They're coming through with it. They may be thinking about some travel plans, whether it could be a relocation for their career, as this is the money thing. And these things are in play as what is going to be happening next. But there's also this sense of fun, flexibility. There's also, when we have the scales, we have that sense of justice. And in that, the flexibility and, as you could see, some type of grace in whatever's happening, that you're going to manage through this and get through that. So the number 2 resonates with all those situations, and actually we begin to even see them here. But then the number 2, in its shadow side, in the negative side, there's a sense of indifference. There's a sense of imbalance here. And what is it here that is throwing this off? Some disagreement, some fears are getting in the way, and maybe making some poor judgments on some of the decisions that you are presented with. As we move through the 3 places that I like to address, which is love, work, career, and money, let's take a look at that. Here, there may be something come Wednesday that is not working. Something just came up. And if it's in the relationship, it could be that in its physical sense, there is a sense of imbalance, because physically this person in your life is not available to you, and there's a sense of neglect. There's a sense that this partnership is not giving 100% of what could be given to support this relationship, to nurture this love. And in that sense, it is not focused on the love, but more focused on the material, because there's a lot of stress. Could be, as we move into the money side of it, that there is some conflict because of what's happening at work. And there could be a sense that you're overworked, and basically you come home and you don't have time to nourish this relationship. Could also be that the work itself is not flowing for you. And it could be that there are some projects and goals, especially if you are in business, you cannot meet the demands of the work itself. And could be that there are some other factors. If you're trying to get some work orders out, there's some demand in your company, and it could be that there are some external issues, product delays that are not coming in, and it's really putting a backlog and pressure on the output of the product or the service itself. And now when we move this to the collective sense about money here, there could be just too much bills coming in. And it's not that the bills are really coming in, it's that you've incurred more debt than you can actually manage. And so now it's like it's time to pay the piper, but there's not enough income to pay, the bills that you've exceeded in. And you were not planning that there was going to be a downturn in your income, but here you are, and now it's time to address that matter. And you just kind of don't know what to do with that, and kind of feeling all kind of sorts of emotions coming in. It's like, what do I do now? And your feet is no longer on the ground. You can't even tippy-toe around that because you have nowhere to land, and everything is just falling to the side here. So come Wednesday, it's time to use that Virgo lunar influence and really figure out what you need to do. And if you have to go get another job, it's going to be what you need to do. It's not like, oh my God, how can I do it? God doesn't give you anything you can't handle. If you see it from a different point of view, no matter what, you will end up in your feet, but you've got to make a commitment to focus on what it is you want. It's just not going to rain money on you. You've got to go and make it rain. Got to go and do the rain dance. That's going to require action. All right, let's take a look at Thursday. I want you all to meet my little friend here. She's been asking to say hello to you. She's something else. She just wants to be here in this space, but then she starts meowing, and then y'all are going to hear that. All right, let's move on to Thursday. Okay, so now here we have the 6 of Cups in reverse. Upright, we see here the number 6, and the number 6 vibrates with the energies of unconditional love, about balance, harmony, family, love, that domestic life. And that nurturing that we see here, you could see it's actually reflected in this card here. There's a sense of stability and also emotional stability and a sense of peacefulness, as we see with these beautiful lilies. But what is it that we're struggling? Could it be that what we saw here happening during the week here, something that we don't want to let go of? Maybe something that happened on Wednesday, we're still kind of now trying to understand. As the number 2, something is out of balance, and then with the number 6, it's that there's not lack of expression for that love itself. And it's going to be interesting how this is going to play out, because the lunar influence goes from that Virgo, the earthy, which interesting that we had the pentacles here on Wednesday, and then on Thursday later in the afternoon it goes into Libra, seeking balance and pushing through to kind of address those issues in your life, whether it's in money, career, or romance. So the 6 of Cups here, again, it's addressing us. What are we holding on to? Something, we're holding something in the past. And we saw that expressed here on Monday as we started this week. And for many people, the month of February in America, because we celebrate Valentine's in February, and this is for some people not the best of months, because it brings out that sense that if you are single, it's like, why aren't you with someone? And if you've lost someone, it's like that person's no longer there. And it just seems to be so commercialized in your face that you can't help but have that feeling of this collective pressure about being with someone or not having someone by your side that used to be by your side. So it's a lot to deal with as we're approaching, Valentine's week next week. And this whole month is bringing many people to think about the past. So here with the 6 of Cups in reverse, we are here exploring the memories of what we used to have and used to be, and why are we still there? And there may be a sense of feeling that, you may be secure in these feelings, but it's time also to learn from this relationship, to learn from your family, to learn from, those past experiences, so that you can have a better expression as you're guided into the future. It's important as we're moving into this Libra is to find that balance. So we find this energy on Thursday asking us, hey, time to get balance again in your life. And as we are addressing this unconditional love, could it be that love itself that has been with you since childhood, and maybe you're longing to have those feelings again, and those dreams that you used to have that are not realistic now that you have kind of been on your own and you're trying to reach some of these goals, and it just seems so painful that what things seem so magical, life all of a sudden seems so hard. That it seems to be hard to move on from those beautiful dreams that you had, or from this relationship that seemed to be ideal for you, which no longer is. And for some of you on Thursday, a collective group, you may be moving on from a job that you had. And it's not that you didn't like the job, it's just that there was no more growth for you financially or mentally. There was no more motivation. It was just a humdrum. And sometimes it's not about the money. It's about waking up to doing something that you love and have purpose in life that makes you feel like a sense of community and that you are meaningful. So there are a lot of things that are happening here. And interesting, when it comes to money, this usually is one of these cards when in the area of money that, as sad as it sounds, but it's rather sweet, that if you're a young adult, you are disconnecting from the family group because you're ready to go make it on your own. And it's a beautiful card, not one to be sad about, but it's a good card for both parents and for the young adult. Thinking about probably going to another place and you're ready to spread your wings. Awesome. Let's move on to Friday. Friday is here. Okay. Well, that's interesting. We start the week with a major arcana upside down, and we close out Friday with a major arcana right side up. And what's interesting is that they are separate cards, yet they look almost the same in the upside down mode. We see the sun here, and we see this illuminated halo here, and they're both upside down. And while he has his legs crossed over while he's dangling, the horse itself, look at that, almost looks like the same number 4. So we've moved on to something positive come Friday, and now we have the number 12. So another factor to look at as we look at these cards here, while this was the number 13, and in it had the number 1 and 3, we have the number 12 that has a core number of 1, but when you add the 1 and the 2, you end up with the number 3. So there may be something that you were able to kind of go through and experience through the week that has brought you now to some level of that spiritual growth, connecting back to your karmic path and life lesson through the Hanged Man. So staying on the numerology aspect of this interpretation here, with the number 1, we have those new beginnings, the self-reliance. With the number 2, we have balance and adaptability, and that sense of kind of relationship, bringing things together through the number 2. So with the number 12, we have like this sense that we have come through a whole cycle, and we have had an experience here that has allowed us to assimilate something that has provided knowledge and higher wisdom. So this is interesting that even though we had this thing here come together showing us a sense of working through something, it looks like come Friday things play in hand to make it something that we can grow through. And it's interesting because we have the moon in Libra keeping us in that sense of balance here, and here this person is kind of in itself, while he is kind of hanging around there, he feels there's a sense of balance, and you kind of get this feeling that he's in the middle of that balance, or she is in the middle of this balance, kind of staying neutral about the situation. So it may be that come Friday, you may have gone through this experience and now kind of feel that you don't really need to take any action at this time. And this may be just a period of, you know what, let me just weigh things as they are presented to me here, and allow the universe to kind of bake things through, allow the energies to kind of in itself work themselves out. This message for you on Friday is really about if you can hold off on making any decision so that you can reflect, research, and come to that place of your own that it feels right to make that decision. Friday may not be the day to say yes or to say no. Friday may be the day to say, let me think about this. Because when it comes to love can't be rushed. You can't be rushed. No one can, rule over your heart. You need to go into that place and find that peace and reflect on what you have here. Is this love worth making a sacrifice for? In your career and in your business ventures, do you really need to make those decisions now? Should you leave or should you stay? Maybe Friday is a good time to allow the weekend to come through and settle in before you make any major changes to your career path. And when it comes to money, it is time to really reflect on what it is that you want, what is it that you're willing to do for it, and what are you willing to give up for it. Okay? There we have that. Let's look at Saturday as we are still working through Libra. Let's put this upright and look at the imagery and the symbols and number. We have the number 8, and the number 8 happens to be one of my favorite numbers, even though I have my name has a weight of the number 5, but I like the number 8. It's a very pretty number. And this has the vibrations and energy of authority, of personal power and confidence, of ability, of manifesting abundance and wisdom, and the ability to actually move through your goals as you set them. So ambition, decisiveness, a lot of good words come up when you see the number 8 that moves you towards prosperity and abundance. Now we have this number in the reverse, and the scales are like off and the coins are falling down. So we need to kind of take a look at what does that mean with the number 8, what does it mean when it is in the reverse? Is it that you're lacking the ambition? Is it that something has come up that you don't want to work on certain things when we put it into the relationship? Are you not willing to put the time and effort to make that relationship happen, to grow and nurture that relationship? When it comes to career, do you feel that you're not earning enough? Or is it that maybe you need more skills so that you can, ask for that raise or go into that extra promotion that you would like, and you have to work on something? And maybe you're not willing, you just don't want to do it. Maybe you've lost the ambition to pursue some of the things that you initially wanted to do because you don't really want to put the work into it. Now let's take a look now at the symbols itself. When we take it in the reverse, all these symbols now have a different meaning, especially if you are one of these people that have what I would say independent gigs, jobs that are not on that treadmill of life that you're going to get a check on Friday, but maybe you underestimated all the jobs that you had lined up, and maybe some of them fell through, and so now the prospect of your future income has now diminished to a very sad state. And again, like I've mentioned, when it comes to love, the same thing. You're not working on this relationship, and the question is, you've got to go and do some soul searching about why. You may find out that it's going to open up deeper truths that needs to be addressed now and not later. And perhaps when it comes to work, we've seen some of the situations that have played themselves out and this dissatisfaction. And it's not so much the job or the boss. Maybe it's just that you don't have the skills to demand the higher pay that you would like. Or it could be that you have been called in to address your work or your performance, and they've given you a kind of pass to see if you would step up your game and perform better at work. So Saturday's going to leave you contemplating what you're going to be doing as you're going to balance things out for yourself in the future. Remember that the moon is in Libra, so things have come up to bring balance into your life, not to throw you off balance, but it's to bring you into balance. And some of the things that have been happening in your life up to this point, whether it's in relationship, money, or your career, this energy that's coming in, it's because you've been out of balance in that. And also, this may be an issue with your health. So all of that may be affecting your health, and it's time to address it to bring yourself into balance. Let's look at Sunday. Whoa, talk about balance. Hello. This doesn't surprise me because according to the Lunar Influence, come Sunday, we are now in Scorpio, and Scorpio is the emotional romance, and Scorpio is about romance. No coincidence that it is this feminine energy erupting into the ethers to bring this balance and order so that we can feel complete. And how appropriate. And then we have the number 6. We saw the number 6 earlier on Thursday. Remember about that unconditional love. And so here we have this again working through, and we are having issues with this situation about this unconditional love. As we look at this imagery, we see this angel, then we see the yin and the yang, woman and man, and we see these energies trying to come through and trying to unite. But what is it that we're having? We're not connecting with this higher part of ourselves, as this Lover's card is in reverse. And with it, there could be a conflict within our hearts and within what we're expressing to the world. And we're trying to deal with this as we go back to that Monday. This week is going to be a week that's asking us to address very difficult situations. We may feel some pressures in the relationship that we are not ready to work with. So it's interesting that this is coming through. And I've learned that usually this month is a tough month for relationships. While a lot of people say, oh, this is a great month. While yes, in its pure aspect, it's a beautiful month, but it's also traditionally, I've learned that during this month before Valentine's, there's a lot of breakups because people are beginning to think, is this relationship really something I want to be in? And it's what's important is that you need to communicate, because it could be that in this relationship, this could be that this person is not committed to moving forward. This person does not want to create solidarity. This person does not want to create balance in this relationship. So this may be the big issue this week. It has surrounding a relationship, whether it's a personal one or a partner relationship. It could be that at work there could be some conflict, or at work, if this is a work-related matter, there may be a romance in the work where it's now creating problems as far as performance and gossip, and it's just making it a bad place. When it comes to money and finances, this could be that there's some issue with impulsive buying, and this is creating a little bit of stress financially because you were thinking with your heart and not with the facts that you had in front of you, or the lack of zeros in your bank account. So there you have it. That's the week ahead. It is heavy in the heart, and it's heavy in the material plane. And it has to do, as we look at the Death card, the Hanged Man, and the Lover's card, that it is a matter of karmic lessons, spiritual lessons that are needed here in the plane of earth so that you can manifest better what it is that you came here to do. So you need to address these relationship issues because it seems to be the key play of the week. Let's move on to angels and demons, pleasures and temptations. Pleasures and temptations. Angels. Wow. So there's a delay in the success. The angels are saying, hey, Six of Pentacles here. And how interesting, because we had the 6, we had the 6. So now this is an issue of manifesting here. And the message from your angels here, as we talked about, what is the vibration of the number 6? I will put it right side up first. And with this, we see here that we have the earth sign, the number, and it says success. But if it's success that you want, the angels are saying, you're not approaching it the way that it needs to be approached. And they're urging you to keep balance. Balance. Remember that? We have a sense of balance here, a sense of balance here, a sense of balance here. And it's a reminder that there are a lot of things that are not in balance in your life. And they're saying this here through this message of the number 6 and the 6 of Pentacles. When we look at this whole situation here, what is it that needs nurturing in your life? Where do you feel that you are abandoned, or you feel that you're not protected? There's a sense of that you are not either being nurtured or you are not nurturing. So the angels are saying you need to keep balance between your material goals and your personal goals, your spiritual and inner goals, as we see here through the Lover's card that has a higher meaning to this. And again, as we look at this message from the angels, you may have to take that step back. As we look at the number 12 is a part of the number 6 when you divide it by 2. So we have that sense, the 2, the Lovers, the 2 of Pentacles, the 6 of Pentacles. There's a sense that you need to come in here through this message that's being shared for the collective that is dealing with this part in your life, that you're out of balance, and that it is important to bring your material goals and your spiritual goals into alignment. And to do that, you've got to respect yourself. You've got to give to yourself as well, because you are not nurturing. And there's a part of you that you are giving away, and either through neglect of your own self or through not loving yourself enough, that you are not respecting yourself. And by that same sense, by not taking time for yourself and respecting yourself, you're not respecting others. So it's important that you take responsibility. Take back this part of yourself, this inner side of you, and be honest with yourself. And in that same sense, one way to start this through the help of the angels so that you can have the success that we need here on this material plane is to start with gratitude. Be grateful for what you do have. And it's this attitude of gratitude that's going to help you engage in the future with positivity and abundance in your life. So it's time to take it back for yourself and start with you. Okay, what do we have here in Temptations? Truce. Well, okay, where we had an earth sign, now we have an air sign. In the imagery here, we see a person kind of laying up on 4 swords and almost like looking up at the heavens saying, I am willing to surrender. I'm willing to be a part of this. I'm willing to move forward and trust that everything will be fine. And in this, we see the clouds as they're in the clouds thinking about these things. And these swords are very firmly placed in the ground as far as the thoughts of what this person wants to do. So in this, we can create that truce to work with the universe, to work with the energy that is coming through, and to stop fighting those things that are creating imbalance in our life. We know the things that are not healthy because in those areas is where we have the most imbalance. But here we have every part of us is aligned, from our head to our spine to our sacral to our feet, all grounded in positive connection with these thoughts that can take us forward. This message is saying that if you maintain high intentions, you can move forward and trust that the universe will continue to give you what you need to take that next step. And when we look at the imagery itself, we have a sense that we need to take a break. A reminder again from this major arcana that we had on Friday. It's being repeated. If this is the choice that you take, to choose to rest, to choose to let things, move through for this moment, and to decide that not making a vocal stance of what needs to be done right now is the best thing until you have more clarity of what you need to do. And the universe will support you in this decision so that you can gather and gain the strength that you need, the clarity that you need to do what you need to do next, whether it's about moving forward with this relationship or in this career move, and definitely about any investments that you need to make here in the future. This is okay. This week is okay if you choose not to respond, not to play the game. So this message here is urging you to nurture yourself, to strengthen yourself, to take the time for yourself so that you can regain perspective about your hopes and your dreams and what you want, and to trust that during that time you will be healed and you can start anew. So it's interesting because they're both different. We have a sense of here of passion and we have a sense of peace, but yet they both are trying to tell you the same thing. Nurturing, taking back, and slowing down and getting clarity. Either way, I feel it's a win-win. Let's move on now to the elements of the zodiac. And this is an opportunity to address each one of the zodiacs, our fire signs, our water signs, our earth signs, and air signs. So let's start with fire. Then we will go to water. Then we will follow that by earth and bring it home with air. Fire, Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. What? Hello. Fire. This is a month of transformation and change, and why are you holding back? So you can go back to the Monday reading and see what we have there. But again, we see all the symbology here. And I love the number 13 because my son was born on a day of 13. So here we have where when we look at this message here, the number 13 in numerology, we see those combinations of those new beginnings, the independence, the growth, and then we bring it together as that number 13, and we see that there's a karmic situation happening here. Because this is a major arcana, this is about a life lesson that right now maybe you're not ready to move on, and there are opportunities presenting and you're not ready for that spiritual growth that it's going to offer you. You're struggling to kind of move to that next plateau, and it is a matter of moving through this and accepting that change is part of life and that this is a blessing in disguise. And once you embrace that, you can carry that flag and move through all these situations and get the blessing to head forward. And don't worry, those that don't want to join you on this part of the journey, it's okay. It wasn't meant for them, but it is for you now to continue the course and know that you have support and protection, and carry your flag with honor across to that finish line. So there's something that is a major situation for our fire signs as trying to deal with this week ahead. So it could be here when it comes to relationships that you might be stuck in an emotional kind of loop in this relationship and it's not working anymore. It's not feeding you, it's not filling you, because it is upside down. Right side up, change is coming and you're ready and you're participating. But here in the reverse, it's like, why are you resisting the change? The events that are unfolding are urging you that you need to address these issues, that you need to let go of old ways. You need to look at those emotional feelings and find out, why are they bubbling up in your heart? Why are you holding on to them? Why are you defining yourself as those feelings? All that is doing is just limiting you from the growth that is promised to you. So we have the situation with our fire signs, Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries, that you are resisting this change. And this change needs to happen in your life. You're at that, part where it's make it or break it, or go through and then get stuck for another cycle. So keep in mind, Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries, that resisting this change is only going to keep you in limbo. And are you happy with your life now? Or are you willing to go through the gates to the new land? This does not have to be a card of regret, but it could be a card of hope and promises. Okay, our water signs. Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. We have here the 7 of Swords. I think it's the first 7 we saw on here. And for our water signs, we're dealing with more of everyday issues, but things that are more, you're making it up in your head. First of all, the number 7 resonates with the vibrations of spirituality, that collective consciousness, spiritual enlightenment, and all that inner wisdom that we have, and purpose. But then when we come in and we take a look at it in its reverse nature, understanding what these energies are, what is it that we are holding back? What is it that we're not connecting with? Have we lost that connection with our own purpose, our own drive, our own spirituality, our own ability to manifest? Because that number 7 is also about manifesting all that good luck. Remember, lucky 7, being there at the right place at the right time. But to do that, we've got to be, right? So what is happening here with our 7 of Swords in reverse? Again, in the upright, we see this person, and it could be that this person is dealing with a deception. Is it a deception in romance? Is it a betrayal at work? Is it a business partner that absconded with your money and hasn't returned it? All this is much to be worried about. So in its reverse, perhaps the way to deal with some of this is to change the approach as we're dealing with that aspect of the mind. Because what you've been doing, whether it's in your relationship or at work or in dealings with regards to your money, has not been working. Yet, because it is now and it's upside down, you may now be able to move forward because you are pulling the veil. You are revealing what has been happening. And in some twisted way, this also means that no more manipulation, that the trust has been broken, and at least now that it's been exposed, you can either begin a path to recovering and healing, whether it's healing in the relationship, whether it's something that happened at work, whether somebody was honest or dishonest with some work or issue that happened at work and kind of fessing up to what happened there. And you're ready now to, address things in a way that can bring collaboration and honesty rather than distrust. So this here for our water signs has to do with exposure of lies, exposure of dishonesty. This is about kind of putting it all out there and calling a spade and being okay with what's going to land. So it's interesting that we have all this energy here, and it may not be a karmic thing for you, but it's definitely something that you came here to work through. While unpleasant as it is, the one good thing is that as you're bringing your heart into the issue and helping your mind make sense of it, you will be able to get through this. Let's take a look at our earth signs. Our earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And we have the Fool right side up. A lot of sense of earth. We have the 0, the sense of the all-encompassing, everything in it, from where new opportunities are going to come from, and you're willing to take that step, that leap of faith. So this is really beautiful for our earth signs as we're looking at all these elements here during the week, and that this is a major arcana, which is indicative in itself, the Fool's journey, the story of the person going and transitioning through all these aspects. And it starts with that willingness to begin the journey. And all this here, all the things that are going to happen during the week for our earth signs is a culmination of what needed to happen so that you can start anew. You are being inspired, and you have the courage and the understanding that every day is a chance to open up to what? New areas in your life, in your love, in your work, in your growth, in the wonder and curiosity of this thing called life. So you're ready to just start new, just begin that journey, whether it's the new relationship that is there or bringing more fun, more excitement, more randomness to your existing relationship that is just going to be really exciting as you move through your week. Or it could be in career that you are ready now, you're getting that call back and you're ready for that new job, that new career, or you might be starting a new enterprise or a new business partnership. So this could be also part of what is playing out for our earth signs this week. And in money, this is actually could be that something's going to come up that's going to allow for some spontaneous spending. And guess what? Opportunities to invest and to get out there. Could also mean exactly what we see here. Travel plans, a new relocation, a new movement, a new journey. And that is even good. I could even sense here a sense of a new bill of health here. So a very healthy card. If you had been worried about some situation with your health, this is actually starting all over and getting excited about life itself. Let's look at our air signs. Our air signs, Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. Whoa, look at that. And what do we have here? The number 16, as we start with our numerology influence, the number of 1 and 6 here. We have these issues about beginnings and unconditional love. And so there have been apparently some issues with agreements and relationships, and it's just explosive. With the number 7, it has to do with manifesting. So this situation that is happening is on your karmic wheel, my air signs. This is something that, as you could see, the air is flowing through and it's just going to burn up in here. You couldn't have stopped this if you wanted to. This was something on the path of your timeline. As it is, it's a matter of being able to embrace it, whether you choose pleasures or temptations, angels or demons. Whichever way you're going to choose, are you going to go with the 6 of Pentacles or you're going to go with the Four of Swords. Either way, balance needs to be restored. We see this being repeated here, as on Sunday we had this element of twosies here, the out of balance of the relationship, of your money. Things are just, falling apart. Are you losing your home? It has to do with your career? Something is just really bad for a collective group of you. And if you can embrace this situation, if you can embrace the pain, not own it, but just allow it, like when you go to the ocean and you're there bouncing with the waves, and all of a sudden this big wave comes in, and you allow it to take you. And then as it comes back, it's the sense of calm. But are you willing to just embrace that strong wave and trust that you will be okay? So again, let's now look at the symbology here. And so again, that number 16 is reflecting in your life. When you see it, if you do during the week, it's just one that is telling you it's time to take in your personal willpower, to take initiative, and that you are going to overcome whatever obstacles and challenges may be in your way. In its true sense here, as we look at this tower that's caught on fire, and it's catching on fire from outside, not from within. So this is out of your control, and the individuals are being ejected from this safety net, which means that old ways are not going to work anymore. There is going to be something radical going to happen during the week that's going to throw you off course, that's going to shake and stir you, and it's not going to be fun. And it also doesn't mean something that you need to be afraid of. It's just life. It's just life happening. It's just kind of a reminder that, sometimes we've got to look at the life we've made, and sometimes we've got to look at the foundations. Things are being stirred at the core, at the foundation. These are some groundbreaking changes that may be needed to move forward. So there is a sense that there's going to be some loss, and sometimes change that changes our way of being, that affects our livelihood, that affects our hearts, is life-changing. And sometimes this type of change here reveals new truths to us. And it shows us that old ways are no longer useful, that we've got to change. Because without this intervention, without this thing coming through the way that it is, we would have been too comfortable to grow and to change. The fire can just keep growing with the air. So it's more about embracing the situations that are going to be presented, the challenges that are going to show up during the week, because you know what? Better things will come. So now let's take a look at these aspects. Could be that for a collective group, there's going to be a breakup. This relationship can no longer withstand where it was. The fundamentals of this relationship were not there. And so it's coming to a surface that both of you are no longer ready, willing to stand here, because it has no foundation. It's not there anymore. And both are going different ways. And then when we look at this here in the area of career, it could be for many of you, it could be a job loss. And recently, just from listening to the news, you've got some big companies letting go people by the numbers. That was Amazon layoffs, and Facebook layoffs, and Microsoft layoffs, and Google layoffs. And that's a lot of people that are going to be without jobs. So I'm praying for all of you that this is just a transition, because a new and better door is going to be opening. So there could be some disruption at the workplace, or some sense of, job loss as well. And despite of this message, just know that tough times don't last. Tough people do. In the long run, as you have this wake-up call, it's going to help you reevaluate your approach to money in the future. And there we have it. We have spun the wheel for the Zodiacs, and wow, I could tell you by looking at the fire signs, our earth signs, and our air signs, it's going to be life-impacting decisions and situations that in a way will create a ripple effect. And it's all about how you're going to embrace this, which way you're going to approach this in the future as you move on during your week. That's going to be very interesting. So I'd say that right now, overall, our water signs are going to be able to come through this fine. They have the heart and the emotion to deal with the bad and good that's going to be showing up during the week. let's move on now to our numerology portion of our reading. Well, here we have the number 4, and for me, it seems to resonate here. We had the number 4 on Tuesday, and we had the number 4 for angels and demons. So here we have, interesting, where this is going to lead us. And in that sense, as we look at this, we will find that the vibration probably on Tuesday will be magnified, but also should the choice be that of the 4 of Swords, working with the mind and changing and adapting new paradigms and new thoughts. So interesting how we have that as we move forward with the number 4, which resonates with the vibrations of practicality, organization, getting organized, mastery, inner wisdom, honesty. We need to be honest with ourselves, and we need to have some sense of control and security. And in that also, there's a sense of stability, understanding that we need to find that inner strength that's going to help us achieve our goals and also create that foundation. Because for some of you, like the air signs, things are off kilter. And when we have and we focus on the stability and the vibrations and energy of number 4, we can set ourselves towards our highest intentions and aspire towards our goals and try to reach our ideals, as we have this beautiful sense of we don't know what the future will hold, and to trust that, as we see this here in this sense of the zero, the sense of this void, the sense of this emptiness, the trust that we are not worried because we can create this sense for ourselves in what we bring to the present. And if we stay in this sense of balance and harmony in the present, we then can trust that we will have what we need as we head into the future. As that number 0 is associated with what we talk about, new beginnings, the complete of all, that infinity, that rebirth, the phoenix rising, let's put it this way, and surrendering ourselves to that void, to that potentiality of what is the unknown, and being okay for what we can become. Funny. 0, 0. Hello. No coincidence, my loves. Okay, now we will move on to the community subscriber question. If you would like a mini reading to a question, please leave it in the post here, and I will grab it and I will respond to it in a future reading. The subscriber community question that came in was, why do I struggle to take care of myself? Why do I struggle to take care of myself? Okay. And let's find out what the answer will be. Okay, so we start off with the Chariot. And when we consider the vibration of the number 7, it represents that self-awareness and that inner wisdom, and that which you need to help you get to a better quality of life. And how appropriate that you should ask that question, and then you get this here with the Chariot, just trying to master life. Again, that sense of balance, which we kind of had that sense in this theme here, trying to balance life, trying to balance the things, our emotions, our work, our this. And as you continue to balance this out, that's how you're going to work through your situation. So you ask yourself, why do I struggle to take care of myself? And just understand that you cannot compare yourself with others. That's the first thing. Don't do that. Sometimes you look at other people and you think that their lives are perfect, but everyone has a struggle of their own. And that is just that continuous need to continue mastering all these situations that are flowing in your life. So this is actually a very good message for you to understand that you may perceive this to be a struggle to take care of yourself, but that is just the journey in self. As you continue to address these issues for yourself, you're going to be able to, one day at a time, kind of keep, keeping things in balance. We see this person on this chariot here. The stars of heaven are being guided, and you have like the crown chakra. So, continue to work on the things that bring you peace and that resonate with peace for you as you kind of seek that balance for yourself. And you see these 2 half moons. Apparently, you may be one of these people that allow the drama of other people to kind of hit you, and it affects you emotionally. So this year with the 2 moons, it's about having that balance with your emotions. And also here, the black and the white sphinx. So it is that struggle that you're experiencing of the things that you're doing. But it is here a message that the way that you're going to stop that struggle is just embrace what you have here and then figure out in each aspect where you're trying to figure out, is it more rest that you need? Is it diet? Is it exercise? Is it too much work, not enough play, or maybe too much play and not enough work? And so then you feel that there's some disparity between your income and your time and the people in your life. So when you begin to kind of write down and figure out, where is the imbalance coming from in my life? And if you can pinpoint that area and start working on that area, you can then begin to create that balance. It's not going to be easy, but you know what? Once you identify where the imbalance is, then you can begin to work towards creating balance. So here it's interesting because now we have the 4 of Pentacles. What's the matter there? And it's again trying to create that stability for yourself. So going back to answering your question, why do you struggle to take care of yourself? As we look at this person, we've got 4 Pentacles, the 4 aspects of wellness. How are you doing with your spirituality? That part of you that moves within you. And how are you handling your emotional wellness? Are you allowing your moods to get the best of you? And your physical health? How are you in managing, your physical well-being? And also your mental wellness. So we have a lot of things here. Your physical wellness, your emotional wellness, your spiritual wellness, your mental wellness. And once you can find the balance in all of those areas, you're going to be able to kind of fill the cup where it needs to be filled and empty it where it needs to be emptied. And so ultimately, okay. Oh, interesting. So we have the way to get through that. We have here the Queen of Wands and the Ace of Wands. So it's interesting because you are in control. Ultimately, you are responsible for yourself. In the meantime, we see here that the Chariot here is just showing that the things that are happening in your life when it comes to taking care of yourself, whether it's financially, emotionally, spiritually, or mentally, it really is something that you have come here to master. And while you are aware of this need to bring all those things into your mastery, as we see here with the Chariot, and you could also see that he is not really making too much effort to keep the sphinxes, on track, yet there is that constant, pull to keep them in balance. And then we see here the 4 of Pentacles showing up. The 4 of Pentacles is grabbing those 4 elements that I showed here. It's not just the area of, let's say, the physical part, whether it's your health or whether it's your finances or your mental part, the way that you are managing your thoughts and what you're thinking about yourself in the future, and or your emotional self or your spiritual self. So it is a lot of components, and the fact that you are aware of this need, and then the why is answering itself. It's because you are aware that this is an aspect of life that you came here to master. Yet here at the final draw of these 2 last cards, we have the Queen of Wands as well as the Ace of Wands. And what is beautiful about this message, when we see here that the Queen of Wands moving into the future and how you're going to manage this situation that you have and that you brought up for yourself here, is that this, as the Wands itself, refers to that primal energy, that desire and that drive, that spark that you have to master this, and the intuitive awareness that you have that this is something that you want to get a handle on. You're right on, as the Queen already shows mastery to that. The only thing here is that there is this fact that the Ace of Wands is showing up, you being able to manage these things and kind of feel when you're off and when you're not. And then you have the Ace of Wands is when we look at the ace, it's about those beginnings. And it's almost that just when you think you've mastered something, you feel that you've lost that footing. But that's what cycles are about. It's an expansion. It's almost like when you see a spiral and the spiral just keeps widening and widening. You're learning new aspects of yourself. So you're always, it seems that you're at the beginning. And when you look back at when you were just a toddler, and then when you were just a preteen, and then a teenager, and as you're moving on through life, there's always the core of you, but then there's always new things to master. And that's where that ace is representing about this whole concept of taking care of yourself and then reaching new levels every time, always making you feel like you're in the, what's it called, the journey of 1,000 miles, taking that one step every time. But that's the challenge here. And to not be afraid, when you find yourself that you're back into that struggle, it's that you are embracing a new aspect of that part that you are looking to manage, and the energy that you're bringing to it, the different ways to be creative about handling the different things that exist for yourself. So an answer to that is acceptance of the journey that you've become, and also realizing that it's always that journey of 1,000 miles. That is called our own evolution. So embrace it and don't fight it. Don't fight it. Just embrace it. Embrace it. Torch up and light the way. All right. And there you have that. All right. Let's move on to that 1 minute of reflection, awareness, and silence together. You and I creating the space where we just make a decision to just be us here in that silence. The best minute you can give yourself. Observe your breath. Observe the space around you. Observe how the air feels around you. Notice how the air feels around you. Pick up on all the sensitive sounds and smells, and just be in that awareness. So what I'll do, I will start the minute with the sound of the bell. We will embrace and accept the silence together. And at the conclusion of the minute, I will ring the bell one more time. And we'll follow that into our affirmation. I encourage you to trust the space that I've created for us. Close your eyes and trust that in a minute, that bell will ring to bring you back to the present. Feel free to close your eyes. All right, my dear one, welcome back. Hopefully this will bring you back to that peace, to that center. So no matter what is going on through your day, you can come back, and I invite you to remember this reboost, this moment that you had just for you to be aware of all that you are. So the affirmation for this week, and I encourage you to write this down on a 3x5 card, put it on your desktop, put it in your phone, and let it serve you to reboost and bring you back to this sense of strength through the words of this affirmation. And if this is something that you want more of in your life, make sure that you keep it as a program so that it can be a reminder that this is something that you want to attract more of in your life. And so the phrase of our affirmation this week is, I release my past and now I attract trusting and loving relationships. I release my past and now I attract trusting and loving relationships. Well, my dear one, hopefully you have enjoyed this video. I have enjoyed putting it together for you. If it offers you a levity in your busy day, that is wonderful. If there is something here that resonates with you and gives you clarity, well, that is my pure intention, so that you can take this, assimilate it in what you need, and take what works for you, and what doesn't, leave it for somebody else. It may be what they need, right? All right. And I know we have Valentine's coming up, so I wish you, from my heart to your heart, beauty, love, prosperity, happy and healthy life. And until we come together at our next video,